As we get into the spirit of spring cleaning, yes, my friend, spring cleaning. Spring is right here, our homes, our wardrobes, and our garage. And there is one more thing you need to look to be fresh as year, which is a digital brand. Welcome to a practice growth session. I am Praveen Gautam. I help entrepreneurs or enterprises to build a digital brand and generate more appointments, which means more sales, more opportunities, and more revenue for your business. Now, if you're watching this right now from any of our social media, including Facebook, Instagram, or that might be through YouTube, or perhaps it might be through your LinkedIn. Yes, LinkedIn Live. We are in LinkedIn Live. Check that out. Feel free to give us a thumbs up, share the post, and and I'm sure in next 7 to 10 minutes you will enjoy. I have a very special guest. Now, before we introduce him, we're talking here about practice growth, because obviously digital brand and practice is the common questions I have been asked by community members, is how to turn these high-end inquiries to a patients. Well, that's why I have been lucky enough to have George Juminekas, Regional Sales Director of Podium. I'm sure you would have heard about Podium. If not, here we go. Podium, as seen in the Forbes, about what attract new patients and prospects towards high end, such as cosmetic dentistry, Invisalign, implants, dentures, and the rest. Welcome to the show, George. Great to have you today.
Praveen, thank you very much. Nice to be here and lovely to catch up with you.
You bet, mate. Right, what a world we're living, eh?
Yeah. Well, I feel like the only certainty that we do have is the uncertainty of life at the moment. So.
Absolutely, mate. And George, I'm talking with you as a digital healthcare expert, and I want to really know, all our viewers who are watching this right now, want to know about what is that you're seeing right now in healthcare industry, George?
Yeah, it's an interesting time. I think we're seeing, probably big transition at the moment to what probably used to be sort of like, I don't know, frowned upon within healthcare is now sort of a must-have when it comes to like the Google presence and the online brands. There's a certain expectation that, patients now have digitally, and, what their expectation is like to firstly engage with a clinic and a practice, but also what does that future engagement and the consistency look like? And that's something that Podium really helps to address, and, we're really passionate about, and we've seen a lot of in the industry that now, personalization is really key in terms of like converting patients, keeping patients happy and consistent with the clinic. So it's something that we really like to emphasize. And we found that, historically clinics have been built off, you look at referrals, strong word of mouth. And nowadays it's obviously, we're all from home. You and I are speaking from the other side of Melbourne over the computer right now, which is pretty fun. But obviously nothing will beat that personalization in person. But I think what we've seen now is that there's a really big emphasis on personalization digitally, and that's something that really focusing on.
Absolutely, I like your perspective, how you talk about personalizations, because everything digital. So can you walk us through, for those viewers who are watching this, what does that mean? Personalization means in a simple language.
Yeah, personalized just means like the relationship that a patient has with a clinic or with a practitioner is personalized, right? And especially when people are engaging with that clinician. So I think digitally, like doing things digitally and scaling things is always fantastic. There's a lot of efficiencies. However, I think typically it's at the detriment of the patient experience. So we found a really cool way with Podium to actually sort of really keep that intimate and personalized while not losing on the efficiencies that the technology provides.
Interesting. So now you briefly touched on about the Podium. What does that? I mean, what does that? Obviously, many people who have who are the viewers here, or many of our clients and prospects, they already know about Podium. So what does it do? Yes, you mentioned personalizations, wow experience, but besides that, what does it do, and how it will help the practice owners or dentists here?
Yeah, definitely. It's just we're a modern cloud-based tool, right? So the really cool thing with the software is that it really helps to articulate things very easily and make it really emphasize on the patient experience, as opposed to like there's a lot of software out there that's fantastic that focuses on internal efficiencies, making it easier for staff to communicate and all that sort of stuff. Our focus is actually more so on the patient experience. And ultimately what we found is, your patient experience is a reflection of your brand. And even more so now, that digital patient experience is even more important. So the software really helps to, convert in terms of, new patient inquiries. We've seen a really big uplift in high-end treatment inquiries coming through, especially now, post-COVID, everyone's online. So how does a practice capitalize on that? What is best practice? Or how do you communicate with them? How do you convert these patients? And that's what Podium really helps to address.
So would that be right in saying, help us to understand, George, would that be right in saying the Podium is a sort of a tools which help us or the practice owners pre-appointments, appointments, and post-appointment? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, end-to-end, absolutely. So from the moment a patient would find the clinic online to the moment that they engage with that clinic, what is that expectation? To that moment that patient, prospective patient becomes a patient, commences with treatment. How do you keep them active? How do you keep them relevant in terms of the conversations happening, those touch points, recalls, aftercare instructions, pre-treatment instructions, collecting payment, even video chats, convening through video chat. The solution's really cool, very, very modern. And it's a native experience for patients. Native meaning that we all have got really cool personal apps that we use, like, for instance, Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. It's another app that really makes it easy and simple to communicate and engage patients end to end.
Oh, that's amazing. Thank you, George. Now, and again, we're talking about building your digital brand, isn't it? That's what it is all about. Because, as a practice owners or dentist or healthcare specialists, they focus so much on outside, yes, which is fantastic. But at the same time, most of the patients or common peoples, they are looking more on digital experience, as you touched on. Now I can see a number of the viewers are just tuning in. By the way, guys, if you're just tuning in, I'm with George. George, Regional Sales Director, and he's a absolutely digital healthcare expert from Podium. And we're talking about how to turn high-end treatments, inquiries to really appointments or your patients. So if you haven't heard about, about Podium, we'd love to know more about your biggest concern in getting those leads to appointments. Just write it down in the box. Now let's get a little bit, I'm conscious with the time, George. So those people who have already know about the Podium, or they are still hesitating. So what do you suggest?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we're running this event. We're purposely running this given the circumstances at the moment. We've got really, really cool content prepared, really relevant use cases. It's going to be a really great opportunity to give a really personalized look into Podium, and also more specifically, like, the technology is great, but more so around the use cases and the really cool stuff that we're doing in the industry now, specifically during COVID, to help practices innovate during this time.
That's great, amazing. And those viewers who have already subscribed to the Podium, is it still worth it for them to come along? And just is there any idea you can share on that?
Definitely, yeah. This will be extremely sort of personalized to the dental industry. Just for your reference, it's our biggest vertical. It's our most fastest growing vertical. So highly recommend it. The software is constantly innovating. We're always introducing new features. So most likely you're going to find some value out of it that you probably didn't realize that the software does, because we do a lot of things really, really well.
Absolutely. And I am a perfect example. Even I have checked, a couple of months, and now it's changed so much. And even in our businesses, we use Podium. So highly recommend. There's no doubt. By the way, guys, all the details, event details are right there. So hit that up. We have already got over 60 plus attendees, and we are trying to have very nice. And the whole purpose of this event is so you can make a hands dirty. And really our aim here is to showcasing how other practice are doing and how they are getting the results from using Podium. Now, besides that, George, anything typically you want to share about some ideas or some tips for those viewers who haven't heard about Podium? You touched on briefly, or you always focused on the reviews. What do you think about the from Podium, George?
Yeah, the reviews are a really important piece. Absolutely. As we know, based on the APRA guidelines, a really good tip is, like, you can collect reviews on Google. Google's an agnostic platform. It's literally the reflection of your brand these days. A lot of dental practices and principal dentists we speak with have built an awesome brand internally, just that they've struggled to digitalize that, bring it up online on their brand online. So yeah, highly recommend to even collect reviews. Like, don't be afraid to ask for patients to leave reviews, especially now during providing emergency treatment. Absolutely, it's a great time. A lot of our partners are really taking advantage of that. So really good opportunity now, especially during the downtime.
Absolutely, absolutely, and I'm sure this can be integrated well in a virtual consultation as well, isn't it? Because right now, not especially if the practices are in Melbourne or Victoria or in New South Wales, we are doing a sort of a marketing campaign, is an emergency campaign. So would that also means, does this help in some sort of way in a virtual consultation or virtual assessment, George?
Absolutely, yeah. Especially around high-end treatments, for sure. Definitely, the higher amount of reviews, like patients, like from our experience, want to associate themselves with a brand that's aesthetically pleasing online, because the high-end treatments, it's an aesthetic thing, right? Typically comes from a place of insecurity. So, yeah, highly suggest like the reviews are a really important piece, but also providing those virtual consults online. As we know, it's a native experience for us all now. We're all accustomed to Zoom. I mean, the share price has rocketed of Zoom over the last few years. So it is the only way to sort of move forward, is having an assessment and a way to actually have your digital consults, virtual consults. Very, very important.
Beautiful. That's amazing, George. So, all those viewers who are watching this right now, that's on 19th of September. Yes, we have, because I know being a practice owners, and if you're running multiple practices, it is always, on the run. So we purposefully put that on a Sunday between 10 to 11, and all the details are here just on the screen. So find out. And thanks once again, George. Is there any final comment of anything you want to share before we wrap up for today?
Nothing specifically, but highly recommend to check out the event. It's going to be awesome. We're really, really excited for what we're doing in the industry, and 360 Dentals and Pravin and the team are absolutely incredible. So I'm very pumped by this, and we're going to it's going to be really, really worth at least tuning in for the first 10 minutes.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, George. Yeah, we are really looking for the collaboration and the partnership, and obviously we are implementing the Podium for all our clients, seeing amazing results through the campaign and the review wise. So amazing. Thank you, George, once again.
Thank you. Catchy.
Thank you. Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed this short live cast. And again, there's so many things have been changing right now. The way how we do business, the way how you see patients, and everything is changing. So the question is, knowing is one thing, but how you implementing those changes, those things in your practice to build your practice, to generate more appointments and to generate more patients and more revenues. So on that note, if there's any questions, feel free to email me at Praveen at. All the details are right here. And until then, you take care. And again, once again, the link of the event is right here. So look forward to seeing you on our event. Until then, you take care. Bye for now.